Hello! In today's video, I'm going to be answering a question that I have received quite a few times, and that question is when should you spend your gems and what should you spend them on? Should you spend your gems on VIP points, speed ups, something else, maybe artifacts? Well, we're going to answer that in today's video. I'm going to start by talking about the certain timings when you should be spending your gems, and then I'm going to talk about what you should be spending them on the end game and what I personally spend my gems on. And then at the end of this video, I will be talking more about the early game and how you should optimize that. So let's start by talking about the 3 different times that I've isolated that you have for spending gems in Call of Dragons. The first one is the one that everyone already knows, obviously, and that's the weekly quest, where you spend 3,000 gems per week, and this gives you 70 of these rune XPs that you need in order to max your insight rune or your seeking rune, which is very high value. Even if you don't buy the insight rune, still getting all the way down the seeking rune, or at least as far as you can for some of the rewards that are here. Not really the singular gold head, but the medals and everything is quite nice. So you're going to want to spend 3,000 gems per week on something, probably every week you play this game, but let's talk about the other 2 events now as well. And this event here is so terrible that I even memed it, comparing it to the Rise of Kingdoms More Than Gems event. It is in the Festival of Fortitude, it's one of the chapters in there, and for spending 7,000 gems, you get 200,000 mana. So this is technically an option where you can time spending your gems for a little bit more value. However, I kind of have it in here just as a formality. I would like to mention that a lot of the advice that I'm going to give in this video about the next event completely goes out of the window if the More Than Gems event gets added to this game, because as you can see in this meme again, based on the Rise of Kingdoms event, you get like 13 gold heads, 15 gold heads or something for spending 25,000 gems. So obviously if that was added here, you would want to spend your gems on that instead. But that being said, let's go ahead now and talk about Alliance Mobilization. So the current Alliance Mobilization that we have is coinciding with the Lucky Spin event, and I think that's pretty awesome. I'm just going to go ahead and select a hero here that I don't have unlocked. We get a universal token, that's pretty awesome. But one thing that you can do in order to advance your Alliance Mobilization quests is you can take a quest for spending gems. So I have this quest for using 7,200 gems, which gives you a pretty reasonable amount of points, 130. There's also an option for 100 points and 150 points and things like that. But what I can do is I can go ahead, and even if I don't like the heroes that are on this wheel here, I can go ahead and purchase 11 tickets for 7,700 gems, and that will completely finish my Alliance Mobilization quest here, which will give me the points that I need in order to boost my Alliance's score in order to get the placement points we need. But the key thing here is that I'm able to bank these tickets, so I can spend these gems on these tickets ahead of time during the Alliance Mobilization event, and then I can only spend, if I'm a free-to-play or a low-spend player, only 7 of them or something like that every time the wheel shows up. So I'm pretty much just converting my more fungible gem currency here into the much less fungible Lucky Spin tickets, but I'm still able to save these forever and spend them on any wheel that I want. So for example, when the Generation 3 Mage comes out or the Bertrand wheel comes back, I can go ahead and spend 70 of these at a time and get to the 10 spot, or if I have 22 of them and I want to go to the 25 spot, I can do that too. Of course, a lot of things that you spend gems on in this game you can't actually bank for the future, but there are a couple of things that you can do. So you can go into your VIP center and buy Master's Blueprints if you still need those for 2,000 each. And you can go into your normal VIP store and buy things out of here if that's into your budget. If you're not sure what things you should be buying personally, go ahead and check out my tier list that I made here. It's slightly out of date at this point, however I will eventually update it, and I'll probably do that towards the end of the year, maybe the beginning of 2025. We'll have to wait and see. But basically in that tier list, I go down and go in depth on all of the different things, or pretty much all of the different things that you can spend gems on in this game. So that'll give you a pretty good idea of like, hey, should I be buying 8-hour speed ups? Should I be going and buying the 24-hour speed ups? Maybe I should just buy like the pet regeneration potions, or the 5-minute speed ups are super cheap, so I should probably buy those instead of the 24-hour speed ups. No, you shouldn't, and I go into that in full detail in that video if you're interested. So now that we've talked about buying things from the VIP store and when you should be buying things in particular, let's go ahead and talk about the second main portion of this video, which is, should you be spending gems on VIP points? And I've thought about this a lot and had several conversations with different people, and I've come up with some sort of rationale that I can reasonably think makes sense. So if you are under VIP level 8, of course spend all of your gems on VIP. When you get to VIP level 8, you get your gold head per day and a second research queue. After that, you get training speed at VIP level 10, which is pretty awesome, but after that, you don't really get anything that's too crazy. The research speed at level 12 and like the attack, defense, and HP stats are nice, but they're probably not worth spending hundreds of thousands of gems. The real thing that you're looking at between VIP level 10, which is 150,000 VIP points, and VIP level 14, which is 750,000 VIP points, is going from 1 to 2 legendary hero heads or legendary hero tokens per day. So this is a spread of 600,000 VIP points, which for some may seem insurmountable. It's definitely a lot of gems, so this is more of a long-term goal, and the debate comes in here with, is it worth saving up that many gems in order to get to a higher level of VIP? If this was a game like Rise of Kingdoms, for example, where you could endlessly gather gems out on the map to your heart's content, I would say yes, for sure. However, the fact that you can only realistically gather 1, maybe up to 2,000 gems per week if you're kind of crazy, really limits the possibilities here. So I've been gathering gems pretty religiously here for about a year, and I have only 62,000 gems gathered. There's some people, I think like the highest I've seen is around 110,000 gems gathered, so we're talking about 20% of the way from VIP level 10 to level 14, which isn't enough. So let's go into a hypothetical world where you're not at VIP level 10 trying to get into VIP level 14, but instead you're at VIP level 13, or maybe you're at, like 620,000 VIP points, and you're like, okay, should I spend 120,000 gems in order to get to VIP level 14? And in that situation, I think there's some math that I would do. And that math would be something like, am I getting more or less than 500 VIP points per day just from my Alliance gift shops? If I'm getting less than 500 points per day, I think that yes, if that's the case, on average you're getting less than that, you definitely should spend the gems. And my rationale for this is, how many gems would you have to spend to get 1 day of having VIP 14 sooner? Because having VIP 14 sooner means that you get 1 extra legendary head per day that you've had it, but you do also need to factor in the fact that this is a lower tier head compared to where the tier of heroes will be in the future, of course. So there's another little extra layer of complexity there, but you don't really need to go into that. But I think that the basic number of 500 is probably a good barometer. So let's go ahead and take a look at my alliance for an example here. For like last hour or so, not very many gifts, but 2 gold chests, which is kind of cool. I guess Zandria is looking to top up on some stuff, maybe doing the alliance mobilization as well. But anyways, so we got 260 VIP points from here. It's kind of hard to average that out over a course of time, but you should have a decent idea of how many VIP points you're getting, one thing that you can do is you can go into your resources here and just not claim them as you're getting them, and then do like a 10-day period where you only collect the chests. And if you have more than 5,000 VIP points in here after 10 days, then I would say it's probably not worth buying VIP points with gems, unless you're going for only doing 3,000 per week, of course, because if you're only doing 3,000 per week, as we mentioned earlier, that gets you to your weekly top-up limit. However, you would probably want to alternate this every 2 weeks. That way, one week you buy 3,000 gems, and then the other week you go for the wheel, like the lucky spins, if that's something that you're interested in doing. And you're probably going to be spending like at least 100 gems per week on like your merit store refresh and stuff like that. So, of course, these are just like loose rules that you would want to maneuver in between. You can probably make an argument for saying that a legendary hero token is worth more than 500 gems, but I feel like the type of person that would make that argument isn't the person that's in the situation that someone like me or someone who is asking that question is in. If you're someone that's 100 spinning the wheel or 200 spinning the wheel every time it comes out, obviously this answer is going to be different for you. I feel like this advice is mostly targeted at people who are on the low spend or free to play side of the spectrum, because when you're on that side of the spectrum, you have so many more things that you need to think about buying. Like, hey, can I even unlock an artifact? Because if I unlock an artifact and get it to level 1, that increases my ability to fight on the field by so much compared to just using like an epic artifact or something like that. Or can I save these gems to go in and buy, like 80 Destiny tickets, which cost 40,000 gems or something like that, But for sure, if you have a different opinion on this and you think that 500 number should be higher or maybe lower for gauging when you should be deciding if you're buying VIP points for gems or not, do let me know down below. And I think that it's worth definitely using the Alliance Mobilization event as a little bit of extra value for buying these Wheel of Destiny tickets and saving them. Like, even if you're someone who normally only does 100 spins, but you do buy the bundle, I would say like buy out the bundle and then also go in and buy market vouchers with gems. I think that's, like, realistically, it's pretty high value because it's important to actually help your alliance in order to be able to promote to the next tier. So you have to get in the top 8 when you're in silver in order to promote into the gold league. And what's nice is that once you get into gold league, you can't demote. So you gotta work a little bit hard to get there, but then after you're there, you can coast and you can get still some pretty decent rewards, 6 gold heads, 8 gold heads, some other things as well. And now to talk about the early game aspect of this video, let me go ahead and swap over to my restart account, and I will be right back. Here we are now on my restart account, and one of the questions that pretty much everyone has if you're an archer main when you first create your account is, should you go for VIP level 8 first, or should you go for a Kinnara unlock first, or maybe even a 5111 Kinnara before you go to VIP level 8s? So as you can see, I've only spun the Kinnara wheel once this time around so far, and that was my free spin. And if you go into my bag here, you can see that I only have 2 Kinnara tokens. This is the second Kinnara wheel. So based on that information, you can probably tell what my answer is, and that is that you should be focusing on spending your gems on VIP. So it's going to take 35,000 VIP points in order to get to VIP level 8. So just remember to spend your 3,000 gems per week to get that little bit of extra value in here from your weekly quests. And then even though you're not going to be unlocking Kinnara right away, that's okay, because even as free to play, I mean, you're not going to be able to get enough heads to get her to 511 anyways in order to be able to actually use her. So it's better to focus on the long-term power gain and the long-term hero power gain, especially of getting your VIP level 8 slightly faster, so you can go ahead and select whatever legendary hero you would like to get one of their tokens per day. So as you can see here, I'm like 16,410 points away from getting to VIP level 8. There we go. So yeah, it's going to take me just a few thousand more gems, so I will be there in no time. And then after that, when more lucky spins come, then I will decide to go ahead and invest in those spins instead. And one thing that I would like to add is that the 500 calculus doesn't apply when you're in the early game. The 500 calculus per day definitely just applies to the end game and going to VIP level 14 off VIP level 8, because the second research queue and the research speed and the gold hero token is just such high value that it really can't be undersold. On my main account, because of how big the project was and the fact that we had several season 1 tier 5s in our original kingdom in server 97, I didn't actually end up spending any gems on VIP on my main free-to-play account. However, on this account, it would be kind of insane to not spend any gems on VIP. I've already spent probably like 9,000 gems on VIP, maybe 10,000 gems. So it would just take so long in order to actually get 35,000 without spending any, that I would be missing out probably on like 50, 60, 70 hero tokens, which is just an absolute no-go, let alone the fact that I'd be missing out on, 2 months or more of no second research queue. So luckily, if you're a mage main, this information doesn't really apply to you when you're making a new account. You can just go ahead and go all in on VIP. But if you're an archer main, this information is probably helpful to you. So what you're going to want to do now, after you get your VIP level 8, you unlock Kinnara, maybe you spin her 10 times every time she comes out on the wheel, you're probably going to want to go ahead and take a look at my gem spend tier list that I referenced earlier. And that will kind of guide you towards what you want to spend your gems on going forward. The main takeaway from that video is to never spend gems on treaties. So many people have made this mistake. Unless you're a very high spend player, you should not be spending gems on treaties under any circumstances, which hopefully I made clear in that video. There's like a full 9-minute rant on it, and there's a bunch of other useful information in that video as well. So if you're new to the game, go and check out that video, and I will be updating it at some point as well to focus even more on the early game, probably in a separate tier list, and then also a more refined tier list for the mid-end game that would apply to the majority of players. Anyways, that's it for this one. I just have been getting this question several times, and I realized with the Alliance Mobilization event that I would be able to actually stockpile the spin tickets for the Lucky Wheel, the Goblin Market vouchers, so that this would be a perfect time to make this video. And yeah, I think that it probably is going to turn out okay. So thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.